the community couldn't really support two newspapers and two advertising bases and split circulation and so forth. And so even though I went into it with a little extra momentum, because I felt the Gazette was stronger, the Sequim Sun I felt was going to probably go away at some point. It did about 3 or 4 years later. Dale was gracious about it. He told me he would sell me both the title of the Sequim Sun and the Port Angeles Chronicle, and I knew I didn't need to buy them because they were just going to go away. But I did give Dale something for that, so effectively I still own both those
Such
names.
Such a nice guy.
So anyway, but no, I ran the paper for 23 years, and it was a good time here in the community, raising my family here. I've got 4 kids that all graduated from Sequim High School, all went on to 4-year college. I still consider Sequim my home. I'm still in the media business. We can talk about that later, just for 15 or 30 seconds. But of course, in 2011, I was going to say 2011, I did sell the newspaper after 23 years, and that's where Eran and the company she represents stepped in here.
Sound Publishing,
but go ahead, Eran.
Yeah, well, thank you,
And
Brian.
Eran, of course, being the current publisher of the Sequim Gazette.
What a perfect handoff. Thank you so much. So you might have noticed that we had a move here recently.
I know.
Yeah, we're
it's so much more user-friendly.
I know. We are at 175 West Washington. We're still in the Sequim Gazette block, and as it happens, Brown Maloney, former owner, is still our landlord. So we are still under...
Keeping it in the family.
We are. We have a wonderful partnership with Brown. He's been a terrific mentor to me. Been in this community the last 10 years, and kids in the high school, and it's just fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about the Sequim Gazette and the future. What do we have on the horizon? Well, as you know, maybe the appetite for national news is kind of waning a little bit. And I think now more than ever, there is an appetite or a voracious appetite for people who want to know what's going on the 5 miles around their house. And I think the Sequim Gazette really perfectly fits in that venue, that milieu, and, our subscribership. Nationally, I would say newsprint subscribers, they have reduced somewhat through COVID, but not in Sequim. And I just want to say a big thank you to our subscribers too for keeping the Sequim Gazette going for 50 years. I mean, there's we continue this legacy that Brown certainly brought to the community and others before him. I feel like with the voracious appetite of news, our news cycle is getting a little bit faster. And so what you'll see, and we're incorporating, of course, the digital side, which is the Sequim Gazette website, and you'll see more postings throughout the day and throughout the week, as opposed to just getting your Sequim Gazette on in your mailbox once a week. Now, as things happen in your community, you can, just like KSQM, you can search to connect with your community through the Gazette and our website.
I like seeing the posts that they make if there's something going on, and it's on a Friday. I mean, it's not going to make it in the printed copy until Wednesday. So it's posted on Facebook or on the internet somewhere, and then exactly what's going on. Yeah,
so I feel like that's really the future. Our team, as far as the news team, we're grassroots. As you might know, I'm president of the Sequim Chamber Board of Directors this year. Our sales team and our reporters are real grassroots. We are your neighbors. We are invested in our community, and I think that's what sets us apart and from other communities, and why perhaps there has been a little bit more, I would say. What do you think, Brown?
People are used to wanting local news, and that's why I think the website is still quite strong too. People want to know what's going on, like you said, within 2 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles of their home.
Yeah, I mean, 300,000 page views a month. It's just
really,
it's just incredible and growing.
And so much of what's going on in this community, it's for a small town, a very busy community, whether it's what's going on with the schools, the library, what's happening here, all the, in medicine, who's opening up, what restaurant just changed hands. There's an incredible amount of nonprofits here.
Right.
Incredible amount of nonprofits.
Well, KSQM sponsors over 100 nonprofits.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, to your point, Erin, the Gazette for 50 years has been a trusted source of local news, and you guys are still carrying on that way of doing business.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Brown. So, thank you. And it's the legacy of others. We realize that it's not that it happened as soon as we took over with Sound Publishing. It is all the great work that happened on the lead up.
It's taken a lot of work to last for 50 years.
It has, and it has, blood, sweat, and tears, and lost time with your families in order to really put in something that is special for the community. And I think this community really understands that. Look at what happens on the world stage of people that come from this community. This community is so, so special.
Yeah.
And I think, and if you look at the radio stations, if you look at all media and why we have maintained and been successful where others have failed, it has a lot to do with the community that we represent.
They want it to be successful. They're willing to sacrifice so that there's a quality product.
Yeah, 100%.
And people have a right to know what's going on in their community, particularly with elected officials, as I mentioned, whether it's school boards, city council, county commission, and where the Gazette doesn't necessarily directly cover county government, the Daily News does, and that's part of your Peninsula News Network.
Yeah, it's the watchdog, right?
Yeah.
We need a watchdog, and I think this community understands how important the local media plays in being that watchdog.
And it's interesting when I said trusted local voices, because with newspapers, the voices are, of course, in a printed form. And here we are with KSQM and truly in voice form. And you folks here play a critical role of what's going on, and you talk about in emergency situations, but also in news. I think you have news broadcasts. What time is it? 4 times a day?
4 times a day: 8 a.m., 12 noon, 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday.
That's an informed community right there.
Joking with Susan, you will never have a breaking story if it happens right here in the parking lot. You never will, Erin. The Gazette will not get it first.
Dang it.
Because they're right here and they can see everything.
We can see exactly what's going on.
I love it, and so appreciative that we get to hold our chamber meetings here too.
And so we rely on the listeners to keep us on the air, because without them we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly.
So if anyone's enjoying the interview, you could contribute. We have a fund drive right now. We need $390 for Cisco.
$390,
$390.
And it's really important to have that community radio, the community involvement. I have not donated this year, but I know last year I made a pretty good sized donation because it was a big year. It was 15 years last year, so I know it's 16 years now.
Okay, well, if you want to make a contribution on the way out, you can.
Aren't you impressed, Susan?
I'll twist his arm for you, Susan.
Okay, well, I know that both of you are very, very busy. Are there any other parting mentions that you'd like to, either one of you would like to do?
Well, speaking of mentions, of course, the special section that just came out last week. Allow me to
Yes.
say this, if you don't mind, Erin, even though I'm not the one operating right now. Although the Gazette, I'm quite proud of it too, because
You did have a little input there, didn't you?
I did, but the Gazette put out a 28-page special section this last week, and if you don't subscribe to the Gazette or you haven't seen it yet, the publication is in many places around town. Specifically, of course, it's at the Sequim Gazette,
Yep.
which is 175
175
West Washington.
West Washington.
Right there next to Sequim Kebab. It's there. It's going to be at the Sequim Chamber, of course. It'll be here on the counter at the radio
Yeah, we'd
station.
love to have people drop
KSQM.
in and come and get a
And-
copy.
and-
When they
on the
come in
back
and make a
page-
contribution, they could pick up a copy.
Yeah.
And I really have to put a lot of effort into the back page. Erin said, save the back page for Brown Maloney. And I thought, what
That's
am I
true.
going to do? So what I dug deep into our files, if you will, used your staff as a reference, particularly Linda down there. And as much as I could, I came up with every single name that we could think of that worked at the Gazette over the last 50 years, from reporters to news assistants to columnists to special section, production, classified, retail advertising, office assistants, circulation, owners, publishers, editors. And Susan, I have to say, under columnists, your name is there as well.
Yeah.
I wrote a diabetes article for like 13, 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's probably, I would say, close to between 200 and 300 names on there of the people over the last 50 years that have had their fingers in bringing this community their community newspaper.
Yes.
And so it's a 28-page special section, the Chamber here at KSQM, and of course the Sequim Gazette.
And 32 businesses supported that by buying ads.
That's awesome.
32 businesses. That's extraordinary.
Yep.
It just goes to show the strength of community that we have here. So just want to say thank you so much for your support. And
Okay.
thanks for having us on today,
Well,
Susan.
thank you for coming in.
And just so you know, she's not that sassy after all.
I'm pretty nice. Aren't I, Brown? Yeah, I love
Give
what
her a
I do.
moment to be sassy.
I love what I do.
Give
It's
her a
just so
moment
much
to be
fun.
sassy. Now,
Being
come
a
on.
nurse, I feel all those people that I'm touching when I'm on the radio.
That's
So,
right.